Thank you for listening to today's episode of Medical Device Global Market Access by Pure Global. Today, we are focusing on a significant regulatory update from Australia that will impact manufacturers of certain medical devices. On June 14, 2024, Australia's Therapeutic Goods Administration, or TGA, announced an important amendment to Classification Rule 5.5 of the Therapeutic Goods Medical Devices Regulations 2002. This change, which took effect on July 1, 2024, refines the classification of medical devices that incorporate materials of animal, microbial, or recombinant origin, and it creates a critical deadline for sponsors of existing devices. Historically, Classification Rule 5.5 has been a key determinant for high-risk classification. The rule previously stated that a medical device containing tissues, cells, or substances of animal, microbial, or recombinant origin would be classified as Class 3 unless those materials were only in contact with intact skin. This broad definition captured a wide range of products, automatically placing them in a high-risk category that demands the most stringent conformity assessment procedures. The recent amendment simplifies this. The TGA has removed the terms microbial or recombinant origin from the rule. Effective July 1, 2024, Rule 5.5 now exclusively applies to medical devices containing materials of animal origin. This is a targeted change, but its implications are substantial for a specific subset of medical devices. The primary group affected by this change includes manufacturers and sponsors whose devices were classified as Class 3 solely because they contained materials derived from microbial or recombinant sources. For example, a device like a dermal filler containing hyaluronic acid produced through bacterial fermentation, or a surgical mesh incorporating recombinant proteins, would have previously fallen under Class 3 due to this rule. With the amendment, these devices are no longer automatically captured by Rule 5.5. Instead, their classification must be redetermined using other applicable classification rules. In many cases, this will result in a down classification, most likely to Class 2B. This is welcome news for manufacturers, as a lower classification generally means a less burdensome and more cost-effective pathway to market. While the rule change is beneficial, it comes with a strict transition plan and a non-negotiable deadline. For sponsors with existing devices already included in the Australian Register of Therapeutic Goods (ARTG) that are affected by this reclassification, there is a 2-year window to comply. These sponsors must submit a reclassification application to the TGA before July 1, 2026. This is not a suggestion. It is a mandatory requirement to continue legally supplying the device in Australia after this date. If a sponsor fails to submit the application by this deadline, the ARTG entry will be subject to cancellation, effectively removing the product from the market. For any new medical devices seeking ARTG inclusion after July 1, 2024, the amended rule applies immediately, and they must be classified according to the new framework from the outset. Given this critical deadline, we recommend that regulatory, quality, and market access teams take immediate concrete actions. First, conduct a comprehensive portfolio review. Systematically examine every device listed on the ARTG to identify any that were classified as Class 3 under the old Rule 5.5 due to the presence of microbial or recombinant materials. Create a definitive list of all affected products. Second, for each identified device, perform a thorough reclassification assessment. Apply the other relevant classification rules to determine the new, correct risk class. Document this rationale carefully, as it will form the basis of your submission to the TGA. Third, begin preparing the necessary submission documents immediately. This involves updating your technical dossier to reflect the new classification, which may impact labeling, instructions for use, and post-market surveillance plans. Finally, develop a clear submission strategy and timeline. Do not wait until 2026 to act. Engaging with the TGA or a regulatory consultant early can help ensure a smooth transition and avoid any risk of market disruption. In summary, the TGA's amendment to Rule 5.5 is a significant and largely positive development for many manufacturers. However, The July 1st, 2026 deadline for reclassifying existing devices is a critical action item that cannot be ignored. If your company needs assistance navigating these changes in Australia or requires support with global market access strategy, please check out Pure Global. In the description of this episode, you will find links to our free AI-powered regulatory tools and our global device database. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time.